What is good, YouTube? My name is George. Welcome to another episode of Senior Year, and this one is going to be very different from what you're used to. So you're probably looking at my face on YouTube right now, but I'm actually going to call this a podcast. So this is going to be largely unedited, just like a 30-minute conversation, and the topic is going to be essentially college life, where we are at right now. I'm with my guest star, Nora. Nora, who are you?
What do you mean, who am I?
Who are you?
Okay, well, how about you introduce yourself first?
That's an interesting idea. I'm George. You guys know that. Obviously, you know that.
They might not if they're,
okay,
they're new to your channel.
Yeah, we are here at Wesleyan University. We're seniors in college, and we're in our house. How do you do this, man? Anyway, I want to say, what inspired me to decide to do, a podcast.
Okay.
And essentially, it's because I love listening to them. That's one. 2 is everyone is doing them, and I want to see what it's all about. But 3 is, I totally get it. It's really nice to listen to long pieces of content and just hear people's insight, because when you're just talking to people, I feel like interesting things come out.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing where I just like to put headphones on and, do the dishes or clean my room and listen to some thoughts from some cool people.
I should have mentioned this already, but I'm gonna actually upload this audio to aeroskate.com, so you can actually listen to it there if you want to leave the YouTube player and just listen. But if you want to look at my face, that's cool too. Now you introduce yourself.
Was that even you introducing yourself?
Well, we're gonna get into the first topic of conversation is what it's like to be a senior and what are our plans.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna happen.
I didn't know that. I mean, I'm Nora. I'm also a senior in college. I live in this house with George, so I'm just here to talk about things. I guess.
See, isn't it kind of stressful to know that this is not going to be as edited?
Yeah, I guess, but whatever.
I also feel like I don't have a good podcast voice, so this is like a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pilot. Okay, well, so Nora, tell me what's going on in your life right now, and how does it feel to be here?
I mean, what's going on is I'm a senior in college, so I have to figure out what I'm gonna do after I graduate, and I really don't want to graduate. I feel like people always hear that I'm a senior and they're like, oh, you must be so excited, you're almost done. And I'm like, no, I love being a student. It's so fun to go to class and learn, and all I've ever been is a student, so it's sort of weird to imagine not being that. And I'm also just a huge procrastinator, so I have not started figuring out what I'm gonna do after I graduate. I applied for one job, got an offer, and turned it down.
Yo, why don't we get into that? What job offer was it, and why did you turn it down?
Should I talk about that?
I feel like that's why people come to podcasts.
Okay.
It's when you answer the real questions, you know?
I mean, it wasn't a job I sought out at all. It was a software company that I had applied for a summer internship at a year ago, and then decided not to do that. And then they had my resume, so they reached out to me and they were like, hey, we think you'd be good for this job. Do you want to interview? So I was like, sure, whatever. If you're going to offer me an interview, I'll do it.
Yeah.
The job they were hiring me for was sort of a more technical position where you really needed more software engineering experience.
And what's your major?
Government.
So you're not doing, you're in the computer science class, but that was kind of a job that is not completely related to your major.
No, it really wasn't at all. It wasn't, I guess, background-wise a great match. I thought it sounded fun. I personally thought I would have been good at it, but they ended up not offering me that job. They offered me a writing job where I would have been a technical writer. And I don't know, it didn't sound super interesting. I liked the idea of working at the company. I liked the idea of the job that I initially applied for, but I didn't love the one that I ended up getting offered. And it was a lot of money, great benefits, all that sort of great life security stuff. Would have been living in Madison, Wisconsin, where life is very affordable. Would have been a very practical choice to accept it, but I decided not to because it just wasn't on the one hand, I didn't feel like I'd really be challenging myself or doing anything that felt all that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the original job that I applied for, it felt like I would be challenging myself and learning so much, so that's why I was so sort of intrigued by it. But this was just sort of like, I'm not that interested in it, and it doesn't really have to do with what I'm studying or what I've ever imagined for myself. And I also know that eventually I want to graduate and I'm going to do whatever job I find, but I eventually want to go to law school.
Mm-hmm.
And do environmental law and probably work in like natural resource conservation or something like that.
Yeah. So are you I mean, most people probably would think that's like crazy to turn down a job. I feel like when you think about a college senior, you think about taking any sort of job that comes your way. Now, are you feeling confident that you will find another job that will make you happier than the one you turned down?
Confident? I don't know. I think if I put in literally any effort, things would probably turn out okay. I just really haven't been, because it makes me so wildly anxious to like anytime I start compiling a list of jobs to apply to and then I'm like, okay, I gotta do it, I just like freak out and can't do it.
Yeah.
But I also just sort of am trying to tell myself, like, I know that I want to go to law school. I want to do something that's like important and fun, but it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day what I do. And I just feel like there's so much pressure to like get that like perfect job right out of graduation, and like there are so many people who are applying to stuff in like October and already have their jobs lined up.
Yeah.
And I just think that's sort of silly. Like, it's okay if you don't know exactly what you want to do. Like, I kind of want to travel, I don't really know, so I'm trying not to like buy into all of this pressure, because I don't think it's totally necessary.
Yeah. We're both seniors here in college, but my position is literally the polar opposite from yours.
Mm-hmm.
I might as well mention, since we're talking about jobs, that I applied to one job, Google software engineering. I didn't really even want to. I'm a computer science major. I'm making a weekend in a life video right now about why I actually regret that decision to major in computer science, but I interviewed with Google, did terribly, and was immediately rejected. And, you know, I don't feel any motivation to apply to any jobs, and I'm quite happy about that, because I know that I'm excited about pursuing YouTube full-time after college, to have that full-time 24/7. Well, hopefully I won't be working 24/7, but just having that full time to put into creativity, I know I can make it happen, and I'm happy I didn't get that job, because that's not what I want to do. And I'm basically going to graduate and then immediately start posting more YouTube videos, focus into my business, Aero Skateco, and just everything that I'm doing is becoming a business. I'm turning my business brain on.
Yeah, I feel like I can't imagine you like having a real job. I mean, maybe it's just because you've been doing this like YouTube Aero Skateco thing, but I just feel like you're such a wildly independent person, and like you hate it when other people try to tell you how to use your time.
That's oh
like
my
you
God,
are
yeah.
So not like possessive about your time, but you're I mean maybe.
I don't know. I feel like
you hate it when you feel like your time is being wasted in any way.
Like when people assume that they have my time, like it makes me so mad. Because like I know I can be doing something very productive on my own. So it's like...
No, yeah, you're like the quintessential like self-employment type of person.
Yeah.
And you have no problem motivating yourself, so there's kind of no reason for you not to be.
And I'm working 2 jobs right now, and to tell you the truth, I don't really know why. I've had these jobs now for a while, especially my one tutoring job, and I just like my coworkers. And I think staying with that job is more about staying in this college experience. And in general, do you think it's weird to go to college and then pursue self-employment? Because that's what I'm doing.
No, not at all. College is like so important in so many ways.
Yeah. See, I very much value this experience, mostly for the interpersonal things and like...
learning independence.
Yeah. Social, like the social aspect.
Also, you love class and learning, so...
Yeah. Well, I specifically love philosophy, English, reading. I think that stuff that's hard to access outside of college.
Yeah. If you had to do a job, like if you had to get a job after you like graduated for a couple years, what would you do?
I think I would honestly like to work at YouTube, but I would be a partner manager, because that's actually a job I looked at.
Right. Not software engineer.
No, like the partner manager like talks to YouTubers, and I could obviously do that. Like having this experience. Anyways, I also want to mention how the way you said you don't want to graduate, I don't actually feel that way anymore. I'm very nostalgic for the things I experienced freshman, sophomore, junior year, but I also have been starting to feel increasingly dissociated with this school. Like, I feel like the majority of people here are unaware of how they want to spend their lives, and I feel like I've been getting an increasingly good idea of how I want to spend my life. And so it's harder for me to relate to the people here who are just kind of still in that finding themselves place.
Yeah.
But you're almost like still in it.
I mean, for me, it just comes down to like learning and going to class. Like when I get up every day and like I get to go to class and learn about things from people who know so much about it and who care about like actually helping me learn, there's nothing else like that, you know? Like that's school and nothing else is like that. And like once I graduate, it's never gonna be like that again. Yeah. I don't know. That's just something that I value so much. And especially I think at a liberal arts college where I can do things like, yes, I'm taking one class in my major, but I'm also taking computer science just because, like literally just because I think it's fun and the teacher is incredible. I'm not ever going to be able to take a computer science class again just for fun. Like that, I just sit in that class and I'm like cherishing every moment. Like I feel so lucky to do that, and I'm so sad that...
That's true. I mean, when I think about that, I'm going to have to say final goodbyes to people. That makes me sad.
Well, they won't necessarily be final goodbyes.
I think a lot of them will be.
They don't have to be.
Realistically.
But if...
You know what I'm going to really miss is the skaters in Connecticut that I've met. Like, I tweeted this once, but I really feel like skateboarding has let me live here at college as a resident of Connecticut instead of a university student, because I know a lot of people don't ever leave the bubble of college and they treat the whole world as their college campus. And since skateboarding has slowly taken me outside, I mean literally just driving out to the skate parks and meeting people who just live here, it's made me feel like I'm part of the world and not a part of this campus. I feel like I'm more in the world than in college. And it's like, it's not going to be that different to leave because I'm still part of the world right now. Mm-hmm. I feel like it has to be mentioned that like it would not be worth going to this school if we weren't able to afford it because of our parents.
What do you mean?
Like we would be miserable if we were paying for it. Don't you think so?
Lots of people are paying for it.
I don't think that would be worth it for me. I think for
a lot of people it is though. I guess if you were going on the self-employed, yes.
Right. I think that for a lot of people, especially if your parents can't help you pay for college, that going to college is a business investment where you want a return on investment by being able to get access to a career. Yeah. But if I was paying for if tomorrow I had to pay for the rest of my tuition, I would drop out right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't, because
it's different for you.
Right, yeah.
It's interesting. I do value this. I'm lucky.
Yeah, college should be free.
Now to shift into the second part of our podcast, which is also a YouTube video. It honestly just feels wrong to say podcast, but the thing is, if you want to do anything, you just got to get started and experiment and learn. So I asked for questions on Instagram. You guys can follow me at George Poulos. And we essentially asked you guys for questions about college life, business, advice in general. So let's see what we got.
Yeah, I think we said advice, which is different than just like questions.
Yes, this is the advice podcast.
I love giving people advice. I don't ever take my own advice, but love telling people what to do.
The first question is from Elijah Oriana. Could you sustain yourself right now if you only had YouTube as your job? To be honest, I think it would depend where I lived.
Not in New York City.
I could not live in New York City, which is where I want to go. Let's be honest. I know you're not too sure about that, which we'll have to figure out. Yeah, I don't think I could afford rent in New York City. But what's the rent in Madison for a two-person apartment? What would my rent be on average? Do you have any idea?
You mean if we were living together and you were paying for half of it?
Yeah.
Well, according to the job I applied to, when they were trying to entice me with the rent prices, it'd be like $450.
$450. I think I could live in Madison.
So you could pay rent.
I think I could pay that rent.
What about like life?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to live like, is frugally the right word?
Yeah, you toast every day.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I don't actually think I'm doing that bad. If the rent,
I think you'd be surprised how expensive life is.
yeah, I guess let's make one thing clear. We know nothing. When you become a senior in college, I think, unless you're overconfident, that's when you realize that you know nothing about life. We don't know what it's like to be adults. So maybe I don't know how to answer that question. I'm not rolling in the cash. The year after college, that is an important year for me because I need to see if I can live off of YouTube, and that'll be the first.
I think you could if you lived super, super, super frugally, which you wouldn't have a problem with because you're not a material person.
And do you know what makes me more confident about it is that just like thinking about the growth, there's growth, and if I could manage to pull a brand deal once a month, that would double my income.
Yeah. So people who get mad at YouTubers for doing brand deals, it's like if you want them to make YouTube videos, you're going to have to deal with it. You should be glad that they're able to make money doing what they're doing. They're producing content for you to enjoy. It's excellent when they can get paid to do that. They should be paid to do that.
Yeah, I actually don't get hate on my brand deals, which I think is because people are realizing what you said.
Yeah,
but I know that some people get a lot of hate.
The YouTubers I watch get a lot of hate for
that's not fair.
Any brand deals.
That's not fair.
And it's like, I just don't know. Like, you want to be able to watch these YouTube videos, but you don't pay for them. So
I also think it's a valuable skill as a content creator to be able to just ignore that sort of hate, because you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've had very much fun. I don't know if that was syntactically or grammatically correct, but I find it very fun to work with brand deals. It's creatively stimulating. People say that when you actually have a box to work within, like when a brand gives you guidelines, it can actually enhance your creativity, make you think of creative ideas to get into that box, and it can be a lot of fun. So that's fun. More questions? What do you feel like your role is in my YouTube channel? Because I feel like you have one.
Watching your videos and telling you when they suck.
Yeah, but you also take my Instagram photos a lot of the times.
Film
things.
I feel like you just ask me a million questions.
Yeah, I bounce ideas off of you.
Try to answer them.
And I think that that's really important. I think that Nora could be my full-time manager, and I think that you would benefit the business. But I know you don't want to do that. So, okay, pick a question.
How do you deal with the anxiety of starting a new chapter after graduating? I deal with it by putting off the things that make me anxious, like applying for jobs, but I wouldn't recommend that.
Well, I guess I
don't know. Do you have any anxiety about it?
I do have anxiety. I would say my anxiety comes in the forms of like visions of graduation day, because I just know how much of a change that is, and for me it's more like the progress of life. It's just a symbolic like place that means, I don't want to be morbid or anything. But like, we're growing up, and I guess it's not too extreme for me. Like I said, I feel quite ready, and I think the excitement of what is to come can overweigh that anxiety for me.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. So I feel like if you can just access that, then that can help with the anxiety. How to decide your major. Don't go into college like having decided already.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
Look at the classes. Pick classes that sound interesting, take those classes, and you will find what you like. I think that your major does not matter as much as you think it does. More than anything, I would recommend pick a major, do that major, but don't like triple major, because then you'll have time to like take other classes that sound cool for you, do other things, learn other things. And at the end of the day, it's probably not going to matter what you majored in.
Yeah, I made a mistake by choosing comp sci before actually starting college. I was like, I'm going to do computer science. But the benefit of that actually was that I was able to finish computer science very quickly and take other random classes, which has been, in my opinion, the most valuable part of my college experience. So it's a give or take. And it depends on it depends on who you are, how driven you are out of high school. Maybe you do have a passion that you're extremely sure of, but I think most people aren't.
Maybe you can answer this. This guy wants to know, how do I get to know a girl I like?
I would say say hello. What, you think I'm a ladies' man?
You can be like George and just go sit by her in class every day until...
Now you're making me sound creepy.
Well, that's what you did.
I sat next to you.
Isn't that what I said?
You said sat by me as if you didn't know.
Okay, yeah, you sat next to me every single class. Honestly, the best way to get to know someone, ask them questions. People love being asked questions. They love an opportunity to talk about themselves.
Yeah, people love talking about themselves.
Then the onus isn't on you to say interesting things.
You know when you talk to someone and they just talk about themselves so much that you don't even get to talk?
Yeah.
Don't be that way. Unless you want to. Follow your heart.
I feel like we already kind of talked about, do you personally think college is worth the money and time? That just depends on you and what you want to do.
And your privilege.
And your privilege, yeah. Education is very valuable. It's also really fucking expensive. And you don't have to go to the most expensive school to get a good education. Like, you do not have to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to come to Wesleyan.
You can get a great education almost anywhere.
Yeah, stay in state.
I would say, if you are paying for your own college, obviously go somewhere you think is going to make you happy, but I actually think that it's very smart to go somewhere where you can get the most financial aid or whatever. Yeah. So much of it is like what you bring to it. Audrey Clay Street wants to know any advice for incoming freshmen at West. I feel like we did another Q&A where we talked about this a lot. I just know that it goes by so fast. And I feel like I'm reflecting on my experience and thinking about things I didn't do. I would just say anytime you're like, oh, should I do this? Just do it,
Yeah.
Like, just take every opportunity you can to try out a million different new things. Don't hold back.
I don't even know. It's gone so fast for me that I don't know how to give advice to an incoming freshman. That was helpful on my part.
George, how do you always look so stress-free?
Because I'm always happy. I'm actually a pretty stressed out kid. It's funny that you don't think I'm stressed.
I think you get stressed, but it doesn't hold you back in the way it does for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that when I am stressed, it motivates me to get rid of the stress.
Yeah, I think the advice there is to try to channel your stress into a motivating energy.
Yeah.
I don't know what else one can really say about that.
Yeah, when my video is late, I'll be typing keyboard shortcuts in Premiere at 100 miles per hour.
Secrets to a long relationship. Be nice.
What's long?
I don't know. You shouldn't be in a long relationship
I would
with
say
someone.
Want to be in the relationship.
Yeah, unless you like them and want to be with them, then, that's good. But also just be nice. Don't lose yourself. Are you going to make an Aeroskate deck?
No, I'm thinking Aeroskate will always be just clothing. And I'm really pleased with my sponsor, Fortune Skateboards. I'm excited to see where that goes in the future. And I don't know, I'm more intrigued by the embroidery, the print on the clothing. Yeah, someone wants to know, to start a clothing line, should you sew yourself, print local, order online? Well, I feel like everything I know about Aeroskate should be its own podcast. Yeah. But you should not do it yourself. No, you don't need to sew yourself. Yeah, it's surprising how easy it is to get clothing made. Just Google it. Bulk, custom, clothing. Also ask friends. The truth is I've not settled on a manufacturer. I bounce around every single drop. This one has been the best quality so far from China. It's good stuff. This guy also, we've again touched on this, but I just want to address it for his sake. He says, I don't plan on going to college, but people look down on that. Should I go? Don't go unless you want to go and feel like it will be valuable to you. And the thing is you might be ready to go in 2 years. You never know. It's okay if you're not ready right now. I know so many people through skateboarding that didn't go to college and they look so happy. Just doing their job that didn't require college. Simple life, they hang out with friends and they skate and they're freaking happy. And I totally see how that could be the life for some people. You could also have a not simple life even though you did. You could also start a YouTube channel and turn it into a business and do whatever you want. Am I your girlfriend? I don't know, Nora. How long have we been dating? Since end of freshman year. Almost 3 years. What's your advice for making a relationship work? I'm curious. I don't know. I feel like if you want to be in the relationship, then just freaking make it work.
Well, it's important to think about it as something that you're doing together with the other person and to always approach everything as a team.
Yeah.
Always reminding each other that you're like on the same side and on the same team is important. That's like the best way, I think, to...
Dude, I don't even have advice for that. I'm not gonna
Well,
lie.
you always talk about being a team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's great advice. Interesting to you. No, pineapple on pizza is excellent.
Do you think pineapple pizza people are weird? Yes.
No.
You weirdo. You freaking psychos. Pineapple on pizza? How do you make friends in college?
Take advantage of the time freshman year when everybody is freaked out about the fact that they don't have friends. So everybody is just happy to like sit with anybody in the dining hall, like leave their door open, talk to anybody. Like just remember when you get there, you are all in the same boat. None of you have friends. Like you're all freaked out. You're all on your own.
Well, you're really good at like relating to your freshman year self. I don't think I'm quite able to access those feelings as well as you are.
I mean, making friends was something I was really anxious about because I feel like I found my friends in middle school for me, like before college, and then I really didn't like make new friends after that. So I was like, oh my god, I don't remember how to make friends. But you just have to remember that everybody is in the same boat as you and just like talk to people. Like,
yeah, I'm the wrong guy to ask this question because like I lost my friends, most of them.
That's not true.
It's kind of true though. I had a great friend group freshman year and then we don't talk to each other anymore. See, I think it's interesting to hear this side of it because not everyone just makes friends. The only consistent, like through the whole thing, the only friends through the whole thing I've had are through skateboarding. And it was not that way in high school.
And those are really good friends, and I don't know why you pretend like they're not your friends, because you love those people.
I don't, but the thing is I don't really hang out with them that much. I hang out with them like when we skate, which for me is every day, mostly by myself. In high school, the only people I still talk to semi-consistently from high school are through skateboarding. So for me, friendship is very passion-based because it's like the thing that links us. And I have not figured out how to be good friends with people who just roam the earth. And I would like to get better at that.
See, I think you're way better at making friends than I am. You're good at talking.
I think I'm quite skilled at making a short-term friend, but I don't know how to...
Like, people always really like you when you talk to them. I feel like people think I'm scary, so...
Yeah, I thought you were scary. Now, I don't know why people like me when they talk to me, because...
Because you're gentle.
Maybe like the...
You ask questions. You ask good questions.
Yeah.
That's what I remember about you, honestly, is like you don't ask dumb small talk questions. You ask good questions.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, these days I actually quite like small talk. I actually enjoy it.
Like, oh, weather outside is...
No, not the weather, but like, how's it going? Like, I'll be interested.
See, okay, that how's it going is a great question if people actually answer it and don't just say, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true.
If you like pay attention to people and remember things about them and just demonstrate that you care about them, that's...
Should we give financial advice? How do you save money?
Yeah. Okay, this super depends on like your situation because depending on the expenses you have, like saving money isn't always going to be an option because we live in a capitalist society and
yeah, when's the communist revolution, baby? Let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
Yo, is the
honestly,
FBI on the line?
Yeah, probably. But I think even before you start saving money, one of the most helpful things you can do is just keep track of your spending. Like, start a spreadsheet on Google Sheets, keep track of the money that you're making and keep track of the money you're spending. You're probably going to be like, holy shit, I spend so much money on food, I should stop doing that. But that just gives you like a visual on sort of where you're at. What?
You like giving advice.
I do like giving advice.
Our battery's flashing, so.
Well, I feel like we haven't even started yet.
Are you serious?
Okay, but...
It's been 30 minutes.
Yes, you're all that and more.
Siri heard I'm okay, but... Thank you, Siri.
Keep track of your money, keep track of your spending, see where you're at. At a certain point, if you can, just every time you get a paycheck, like if you have a regular paycheck, try to like take I think anywhere from like 30 to 50% of it and put it in your savings account just every time you get the paycheck.
Yeah.
So that you can just try to start operating off of like a smaller amount of your paycheck and putting away that money into savings right away.
Yeah, I guess I'm more focused on business finance than personal finance. And right now, business-wise, I'm thinking whatever money I'm making, I'm putting back into the company to make it grow. But personally, all I do right now is the savings account thing. I'll put money in savings, but I've heard that it's good to read like a personal finance book once a year. So you actually, and you're supposed to, like, as an adult, you're supposed to make investments.
Yeah. I have nothing to say about that. That will be helpful. Nobody wants to know what my sign is.
Yeah, let's talk astrology.
I'm a Cancer.
I think maybe everyone would leave the podcast
George is
now.
an Aries. We're wildly incompatible.
Yeah, but I most identify with my 5th house in Uranus. No. As a child, what did you guys see yourself being in the future? How has this changed? Well, I'll mention that as a young kid, I wanted to be a professional baseball player, but I think we all have crazy dreams that are going to change drastically when we're really young. But then senior in high school, I don't know what the heck came into me, but I decided I was going to be an app developer, and that's what made me major in computer science, and I have no idea why.
Well, you told me that like making money was pretty important to you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I thought like you have to eventually pick something that's gonna make money, and
see, that's funny because for me that was like never part of my even if it shouldn't have been.
Well, that's how I was
should
raised.
Have been. That was never part of my calculation.
That's how I was raised. You know, I feel bad for kids growing up these days whose parents are psycho, and it's like all about literally you are a child to get good grades so that you can go to college, so that you can get a good job. I feel terrible because those kids are going to have such a hard time if they ever realize that they can actually stray from this path that their parents build them. Like, what if they want to be an artist?
No parent wants their child to be an artist.
That's not true. I actually, even though my parents raised me to, Nora's making a joke. I think my parents are actually very happy that I'm so happy with what I'm doing.
They're very, very supportive of you.
It's quite lucky.
I wanted to be a meteorologist when I was a kid.
A weather lady.
I wanted to be the weatherman. Actually, yeah, I didn't even necessarily want to be a meteorologist. I wanted to be the person who delivered the weather.
Yeah, I really respect the weather guys.
I fucking loved those people. I loved watching the weather. I don't know what happened there. Your sister wants to know what you would do if an employee was doing drugs on the job.
Depends what job and what drugs. Don't do drugs.
Do you plan to stay on the East Coast after you graduate?
I definitely want to be in New York.
I love the West Coast. The only place that I like on the East Coast is New York.
Potential source of conflict. Stay tuned.
I really like New York, although horseback riding is not a thing one can really do if you live in New York. But otherwise, I really don't like the East Coast. Yeah. I so prefer the West Coast.
Let's acknowledge that Kelly Wakasa, famous internet skateboarder and influencer, has asked me 2 pages worth of questions. How do you kickflip?
I think a lot of them are repeats. I feel like something.
How come I never see Kelly Wakasa in your vlogs? Well, I feel like I've met this kid. Yeah, I actually haven't met you, so. Well, we collabed back in the day. We featured each other on our channels, but I've never met you. And I'm excited. You know why I'm excited to also be an adult is because I think that after college, literally every day of my life will be dedicated to growing my YouTube channel. So it's definitely going to be worth it to travel just to collaborate with other YouTubers. Like, no brainer. That's a business expense. That's going to help me meet people, grow the channel, meet like-minded creators, and I'll definitely be collaborating with people more like Kelly Wakasa. Maybe we could even be friends. Can I move into your apartment? You want to live on the West Coast? Kelly just got an apartment.
Where?
I don't know, California, probably.
LA. I hate LA. I'm not living in LA. What?
Next video, we broke up.
You don't like LA either.
Not that much, but I'm gonna visit there a lot. I think it's a great place to visit.
Okay, for the record, we have talked about not liking LA.
Yeah, I don't want to live in LA.
I like visiting LA.
I want to live in New York.
Iris wants to know how to take a good shower.
Seriously?
Yes. I watch YouTube videos in the shower. Do you do that?
Yeah, I also go on my phone in the shower. Oh, podcast in the shower. listen to this in the shower. That's such a good idea.
I watch YouTube videos. I like put my phone on the ledge.
No, yeah, but another reason I'm hyped on podcasts is
I'm an
because...
idiot. Keep going.
Another reason I'm hyped on podcasts is because I feel like you can learn from it. And I've been looking for ways to be able to continue learning after college. And I think listening to what other people have learned through their voice is a great way to continue learning.
Yo, podcast recommendations.
RadioLab.
RadioLab.
I actually talked about this in my Weekend in the Life video.
Okay.
That's okay.
RadioLab.
Sarah Dietschy's The Creative Life. That Creative Life, so good. Especially if you want to be a creator.
S-Town is like a little mini series that's incredible. Literally so good. And then Serial is like by the same people who do S-Town, and they have like multiple seasons, and it's incredible.
If you're a skateboarder, the 9 Club. I think the 9 Club is what really got me hooked on this idea.
Someone asked me how to stop procrastinating, and I am not the person to ask.
Am I good at this, would you say?
You procrastinate. But
not really YouTube.
I mean, yeah, you don't procrastinate the things that you... No, you procrastinate editing videos. You just posted your Monday video on Thursday. I'd just like to point out.
Yeah. So we're both not good at that.
Oh, watch the Panic Monster video. Linked in the description.
Yes. Are we done?
I think so. Post this tonight?
I'm just very concerned that this was terrible. Like not.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I guess you're right.
It's an experiment.
Yeah, so
This might do terribly.
We really appreciate you guys for listening to this whole thing.
Probably no one cares what we have to say. That's okay though.
And yeah, if you actually stuck around this long, let us know what you thought of this. How do you end a podcast? Well, that's been our podcast.
How does RadioLab end their podcast?
Goodbye. We're gonna cut